Hello everybody, this is Godzilla 2010 again, coming at you with another toy review. Today's toy review is going to be on the NECA 1994 Godzilla, or the Heisei Godzilla. So yeah, let's get started. We'll start out by looking at the detail. NECA has done a pretty good job on their this figure, especially on their Godzilla line and the Pacific Rim lines. They have all been very well detailed. It's all well sculpted, and it looks exactly like Godzilla, how Godzilla should look. So yeah, and they did the spines accurately too. The spines are completely well fleshed out, unlike the Bandai one here, where they're like weird looking as they go to the back here, but they're all well sculpted here. Okay, and also moving on to paint job. The paint on this figure is also well done. It's pretty interesting. Aside from it being, the normal black or charcoal, whatever, for Godzilla, it's got some shinier highlights on it. It's kind of glossy. I don't know if you can see it in this camera or not, but it's a lot different than this one, because this one's all just a plain black. This one's got some shine to it. Also, it's got some blue hints on the claws, especially the toes here. As you can see, they're a little bit blue rather than yellow or white, and the spines have that too. It doesn't show up too well, but the spines do have a slight tint of blue to them. The eyes are fiery orange, and the mouth is a red. Very well done. Moving on to articulation. The jaw is hinged, so you can open and close it. The head can move around. It's got a head joint and a neck joint, so you can move around and look. Shoulders can move like this. The elbows can move in and out. The wrists can swivel, and hands can open and close like that, hinge. So he can pick up something or ball up his hand into a fist. His waist can go up and down just a little bit, not too much though. It can swivel quite a bit, although it's kind of hindered by this spine here as to how much it can, but it can twist and swivel, so he can have a wider range of movement. The legs swivel here. They do move in and out a little bit, but not too much. The knees, they swivel, and they do bend at a hinge right here. The feet, they swivel, and they are on a hinge as well, so they can move up and down. The tail, there's 3 joints here. Yes, there's 3 joints that allow for a pretty wide range of motion. And then this part on is bendy wire tail, and I don't really care for those, so I'm just leaving it. I'm trying not to move those around too much. So that's how it's staying. So let's take a look at some scaling. And movie accuracy. We will again take a look at the Bandai on 1993 Godzilla. I believe that's what this one is. This is 1994 Godzilla. Or I don't know which one this one is. 1991, I can't remember, but yeah, as you can see, the NECA one, when I pose it at its full height, stands, wow. Jeez, it hasn't happened for a while. But it stands slightly taller than it. Not quite a full inch, but it does stand taller than it. Also, if we compare the two, we can see that the NECA one is far better, especially in the face region, at depicting the Heisei Godzilla. This one looks like, I don't even know, it looks like a buck-toothed Dirtzilla. But this, and it doesn't, it just doesn't look like the Heisei Godzilla. Not quite, at least. But this one is easily the best that I have. The Bandai Creation Burning Godzilla is a little better than the Bandai one. It looks pretty good. But this one is far beyond the most accurate. And let's see how these two look together. It's about the same. I think this one is a little bit shorter than the Bandai one. So now let's take a look at some of his enemies in the Heisei series. We'll take a look at the specific enemy. We'll take a look at the Bandai Creation Space Godzilla. I don't have any other Space Godzilla. I'm not... machinations are too expensive. But this is not very accurate because when you pose Godzilla at full height, it's almost an inch. Well, it's not an inch difference, but it's about the same size as the Bandai one. So I think they are either depicted as being the same size or as Space Godzilla being bigger. So the roles might need to be reversed here for it to look accurate. Next, we'll take a look at Mecha-Godzilla 2, Mecha-Godzilla Heisei 1993. This is pretty good because even when you do pose Godzilla to full height, Mecha-Godzilla just stands a hair taller because of this thing, but other than that, it's like dead on, almost the same height, which is pretty neat because generally Mecha-Godzilla is depicted as being taller than Godzilla, but this is a good scaling anyway, either way. Next, we'll take a look at the Bandai Mecha-King Ghidorah. I don't think this is accurate because Mecha-King Ghidorah, at least in the Heisei series, and King Ghidorah at least, was much, much bigger than Godzilla. Like, very big. Even when Godzilla was like, the new Godzilla in that timeline was supposed to be bigger than the old one, like Mecha-King Ghidorah was massive, gigantic creature. So that's not quite right. Lastly, for the Godzilla enemies, we'll look at Destroya. Now, obviously, Burning Godzilla fought Destroya, and they do have a NECA Burning Godzilla, but I don't plan on getting that one because it's the exact same sculpt, just repainted. So Destroya. This looks fairly accurate. You could say it's fair because Destroya was supposed to be bigger than Godzilla, and obviously Destroya is a lot bulkier than Godzilla, but it's not too bad. When you pose Godzilla to full height, they're almost the same height, which isn't quite right, but this is still pretty good. And lastly, we're just going to take a look at some of my miscellaneous things just for fun. First, let's try Bandai Ultraman 1966 Ultraman. I have no idea how this would work, but this Ultraman figure is pretty short, so it looks kind of neat. I like it. Next, we'll try the NECA Tacit Ronin from Pacific Rim. Again, I have no clue how this would match up, but it looks pretty neat. Tacit Ronin is a little bit bigger than Godzilla. Next, we will try my newest edition, Horizon Brave by NECA from Pacific Rim. Again, I don't know how this would scale up, but it's pretty interesting, and Horizon Brave is actually one of my new favorite figures from the Pacific Rim line. Really like it. So, yeah, it's pretty neat. And finally, we're going to take a look at the NECA Deluxe Trespasser Axe-Head concept figure. This isn't actually the Trespasser figure that comes in the Pacific Rim line. It's the Axe-Head, which is basically just a concept / repaint. So it's essentially Trespasser, just with a few minor differences. But this is easily the biggest Pacific Rim figure. Well, not easily, but it definitely rivals Leatherback in terms of how big it is. And Leatherback is massive, so... Again, I think actually I read somewhere that Trespasser was like 301 feet tall, which is about Godzilla's size, as he was in the Heisei series at least. In the new movie, he's 350 feet tall, but I think either way this wouldn't quite be accurate, but it's still really neat to see. Of course, Godzilla would win, but it's not like you could make a neat battle out of this. Okay, I think that about does it for scaling. In terms of availability, the 1994 NECA Godzilla can be found pretty widespread, I guess. I got this guy locally at my local NECA, where I got most of my Pacific Rim figures, and I did get this guy. But you can also get him at Toys R Us. I don't think he's at Walmart. I wish he was, but you can get him at like Hastings Entertainment. You can get him at FYE. You can get him at Toys R Us. I think he's still around. Oh yeah, he is at Walmart, isn't he? Yeah, I did find him at Walmart. So yes, he is available at Walmart. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Decent Godzilla toys at Walmart since the 2014 movie, but yes, he is easily available. I got him this one for about $20. That's about the price of most of the Pacific Rim Jaegers go for at my FYE. They go for about $20, and the 6-inch Godzilla figures go for about $20. The kaiju are generally more expensive though. But yes, he is pretty easily available around and about. Overall, I really like this figure. This is actually becoming one of my new favorites in my collection. It's the closest thing I'll get to the SH Monster Arts 1990s Godzilla. Because when that came out, I really wanted it, and I never got the chance to get it because it was so expensive. And now it's, even with like the Rebirth version, I think that came out, it's still, like, all of the Monster Arts ones are really expensive. But NECA has become a really neat alternative for fans who have less of a budget. And it's really neat that they're coming out with a lot of new Godzillas. I never got the 84 Godzilla because he wasn't around in my local area for some reason. But I didn't really want it that badly anyway. But I really want the 1954 Godzilla that's going to come out this September. That's going to be great. And right now I think they've got the Burning Godzilla, which is basically just the Burning Godzilla variant for this figure. But yeah, they're really outdoing themselves right now, and I hope to see a lot more from them in the future. Oh yeah, and they're making the video game super articulated version, aren't they? Yep, that's gonna be neat. But this is definitely becoming one of my new favorites, and it's really neat, and I would highly recommend picking it up if you can find it somewhere, and it's pretty easy to find, so $20 wouldn't kill you for this thing. It's really great. It's a neat alternative to the Monster Arts version, and even if you do collect Monster Arts, it's still a nice piece. So overall, I would give it a 5 out of 5, or whatever I do, because it's really just a great piece to display, and it's a lot of fun to pose around and do a lot of neat stuff with it. So yeah, this has been a Godzilla 2010 review, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.